Why would the Liberal Party be opening campaign offices if they have no intention of calling an election until 2026?
We've received more than a few emails and comments from people who are still questioning whether a snap election is imminent, and even pointing to some creators that are allegedly saying that no election will be called at all.
Well, let's take a look. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a recent Facebook post for our current MP, Dan Muse. This is a bunch of volunteers that are working to put together campaign lawn signs, as well as campaign signs that go in the ground on the rural roads and on street corners, just to let everybody know that this is Dan Muse riding and he's going to keep it.
So this event was actually last Thursday, March the 6th, and I was going to be there, and then we were invited to the Jordan Peterson event instead, so unfortunately I couldn't go. But it was quite the event from what I heard. Lots of fun, lots of people volunteering in support of Dan, as you can see there.
And here are Ned Curick's signs, who will be our new MP after the next election.
God willing.
Because the boundary changes. And here are all of his signs being unpacked and getting ready to go. Now, these are signs, and people say, so what? They're signs. Doesn't mean an election is coming at all. Well, you know, we could have that disagreement and we could have that discussion, but here's something that doesn't normally happen when an election isn't going to happen. So you may be wondering, okay, Ryan, what's that? So what? That's Ron Chisner from Oakville East, and he's standing with a bunch of people. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the grand opening of Ron Chisner's campaign office.
Now, what you may not know is the nominees who are selected in a riding that maybe they currently have a Liberal MP or an NDP MP. It's not an MP that's of their party. They don't have an office. When Emily Brown came in to speak to us a few months ago, that was one of the things she told us. And I was honestly quite surprised at that. The nominees don't have an office. They don't get an office until they get their campaign office. So the fact that Ron is spinning up a campaign office, I feel that it says that there is an election coming, because why would you rent an office that's 6 months ahead of the election, allegedly October, when you don't really need it yet? Typically, they start campaigning for an October election at the end of June. So why would you need an office in March? Why would you be paying rent on an office in March? That tells me that this election is coming a lot sooner than October.
Well, and folks, we're not done yet. So this is on Melissa Lanson's Instagram. So she's in North York, and she says, today to help open Roman Baber's campaign office in York Centre. Can't wait for Roman to join us in Ottawa and finally give the people of York Centre a strong voice for lower taxes, more housing, and fighting against drugs, crime, chaos, and disorder that has become rampant in our streets. So, another campaign office that has been opened. Here is yet another Conservative opening their campaign office in Newmarket, Ontario. This is Sandra Cabina. So, yet another one. This is Emily Brown working on her pre-election activities and her campaign office that I believe is now open. So you have all of these Conservative candidates, not MPs, candidates opening their campaign offices. Not to be outdone, Jagmeet Singh launches campaign office and opens that in South Vancouver Island. So the NDP also opening up campaign offices. And here's Madra Tate, who is launching her federal NDP campaign office, and Jagmeet Singh is there to help her open it. So this isn't just one. This is the NDP now opening campaign offices in multiple locations. And yet another NDP campaign office opening in Victoria ahead of the federal election. This was just last week. And this is Lindsay Matheson. She is opening her NDP campaign office as well. So you're having pretty much all of the NDP candidates and existing MPs starting to open their campaign offices now.
Well, and again, another example of a currently sitting MP that has a constituency office in that riding, but is now opening a campaign office alongside of it.
Not to be outdone, folks, the Liberals are also opening campaign offices now. So this isn't a case of the official opposition just being wishful thinking and just wanting to be ready. You have federal Liberal candidates opening campaign offices, this one in Newmarket, Ontario. The Liberal caucus is more focused on getting re-elected in snap election than who makes cabinet, say MPs. So this was a story in the Hill Times, and they were speaking to Liberal MPs, and they're saying, well, what do you think about the cabinet? Are you disappointed you didn't make it in? And they're saying, we're not worried about being in cabinet. We're worried about getting ready for the snap election. That's about to happen.
Right.
This is another Liberal candidate that is getting ready for a snap election. You can see in the top paragraph there that they're focusing on getting their literature going and getting a campaign office open. So another Liberal. You also have Elizabeth May announcing that she is opening her campaign office, trying to seek re-election in her riding as well.
And yet again, another currently sitting MP who is opening a campaign office, despite the fact that they already have a constituency office. I mean, if you already have an office that you're working out of, why do you need another office, specifically a campaign office now, unless there is a snap election coming soon?
So you have the Conservatives, the NDP, the Green Party, and the Liberals themselves all opening campaign offices in the past 2 weeks. Something smells afoot, folks. So this is the thing. When we say we're hearing that a federal election is about to be called, this isn't us trying to rile people up. This isn't us just reading the tea leaves. This isn't us just trying to get some clicks or something. This is literally what we've been hearing for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And that's what we've been telling you. And we said that the earliest that we could see a federal election is the second week of March, which is what we just passed. And we had also said after we spoke to Brian Lilly, because he was hearing that it was going to be called on the 16th of March. That's tomorrow. So that's a possibility. But what we did read today is that Mark Carney plans to call the snap election prior to March 24th, which means if it's not called tomorrow, it's going to be called within the next 7 days. Because as of March 24th, Parliament is no longer prorogued. This is the thing, folks. This isn't opinion. This is all the parties are literally in election mode. They're getting their campaign offices sorted. They're getting their campaign signs ready to go, prepped, and ready to drop at a moment's notice. So, they're all getting ready.
Do we know the exact date that they're going to drop the writ? No, unfortunately we don't. But based on everything that we're hearing from our insiders, as well as the mainstream media now, it's going to be before March the 24th.
And if we've read some comments and we don't know who this is referring to, but they've said, well, I heard on another channel or I heard on something else that Mark Carney said that he's not going to call an election and we're just going to live in a dictatorship. Or another one was, we're being told that he's not going to call it until March 2026. Well, ladies and gentlemen, why would the Liberal Party, this is the question that those other people have to answer. Why would the Liberal Party be opening campaign offices if they have no intention of calling an election until 2026?
Now, one thing that I found curious is in a recent press conference, Mark Carney had made the comment that, oh, well, the election will be before November 2025. And we've been hearing whispers that, oh, that means he's not going to call a snap election. Why would the Liberals tell their opposition parties exactly when the writ is going to drop? The element of surprise is going to be in the Liberals' best interest at this time. So why would they just throw away one of the few advantages that they currently have and tell Canadians, oh, we're going to drop the writ next Friday at, exactly 11:23 in the morning at some press conference that we're having. No, they're not going to do that because they want to keep the opposition parties on their toes. The opposition parties are starting to get ready, but even they don't know exactly when the writ is going to drop. Only the Liberals know that.
And the fact that the Liberals are getting ready and they're opening their campaign offices, they're wrapping their plane. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what anybody else says. An election's coming, and it's going to be coming within the next week.